Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Metanoia Method workshop. I am Helena Grant, and as everyone is arriving and settling in, I would love to know where you are joining from. This is one of my favorite parts of hosting these events, to tune in to where you are. So pop in the chat where you are joining from. It's so beautiful that we have this opportunity to connect in this way globally. So I'd love to hear where you are. I personally am in Northwestern Connecticut in the United States, and it is just such a glorious day. The sun is shining, the air is warm, there's this scent that I said to my daughter yesterday on the way to the car to drop her to school. I said, I just wish I could bottle the smell of the crisp leaves, the sweetness, and even that sound of the wind rustling the leaves. It's just this time of year here where I really feel like I come alive even more than other times of the year. And there's just something so special about the light. And of course, the veil is very thin at this time of year. So it's just very, very fun. Hello, Deborah from Toronto, Marilyn from Costa Mesa, California, and Lindsay and Teresa from Toronto as well. And Lindsay, London, wonderful. Cold, but a really bright day. Lovely, lovely. And Olympic Peninsula. Hello, Scott from Northwest Washington State. So fantastic. So yes, please continue sharing where you are joining from as you are arriving. And I'd also love to know, we hear this question a lot in our modern society, and I find personally, I often don't answer it honestly. And a lot of times people ask the question to be polite. They don't actually want an honest answer, but I'm going to say that I want an honest answer. How are you feeling right now? Just in this moment, how are you feeling? What is in your field that you are coming to this workshop with? What's going on? What are you feeling? So I personally am feeling very present, very calm, very grounded, and very, very happy to be here and to be welcoming all of you. Hello, Laura from Westchester, and hello, Laura as well, another Laura from the Netherlands. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? Tell me, tell me. And as you're tuning into that, maybe you want to close your eyes and just take a nice deep breath and know that I genuinely want to know how you are feeling and that everything is welcome here. If you are feeling angry, tell me, share that. You are in a place where you get to be fully authentic. Excited, open to experiencing new possibilities. Marilyn, I love that. And Tracy is a fellow nutmaker. Hello, Tracy. Laura says cautiously optimistic. I love that. Yes. And ooh, Hong Kam, Linda, tired of the old negative paradigm. Well, you are in the right place. Me too. Very fatiguing, very draining. And you know what? Not working anymore. And we just don't have to buy into that. We do not have to buy into that. We get to feel good. We get to feel good. You get to feel good. And sometimes getting to that place of feeling good is really embracing that fatigue, that anger, that resistance, that grief. I love to work with grief. So please continue to tune in to how you are feeling. Share if you would like. Not necessary. You could even just write it in your journal. I do recommend taking notes as we proceed today. It helps you absorb the information. It helps your brain process what you are hearing, what you're experiencing. And you really, when you write it, you are allowing yourself to witness yourself. And there's so much power in that. There's so much medicine. And Laura says, Scott says, mostly okay. Low level terror about what this hour may have to offer. Curious, huh? Yes. Well, embrace that curiosity. I love to recommend Curiosity. I promise you are in good hands. I am a metaphysical healer. I just want people to feel good, to exist from that place. And terror can be very thrilling, very exciting. You can feel very alive when you're terrified. And actually, that is a part of the human experience. It's why a lot of people like horror movies. They just want to feel terrified. Laura says, overwhelmed with self-doubt, but learning to trust my intuition. Laura, that is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I deeply empathize with being in that space, and I hope that today we can deliver you some tools that you can bring that trust to the next level, because confidence is that trust in ourselves with fidelity to ourselves, confidence, confidele, with fidelity, and fidelity is trust. So we will get you there. And Deborah says hopeful. Beautiful. So I quickly want to give a little bit of insight as to who I am and why I am hosting this workshop. My name is Helena Grant. I'm a transformational life and business coach. I specialize in helping people launch courses, launch books, launch podcasts, launch brands. I just love that excitement in the launch, but I help people in various areas, really just of loving life so much that you just have this overflow of creativity and excitement and engagement. And of course, so much of that comes from deeply tuning into who we are, what's available to us, using the body as this incredible instrument, a tool of knowledge, information, inspiration, connection to something so much bigger than what we think we are, what we are programmed to believe that we are, what we are programmed to believe what we're capable of. I mean, we can do so much when we believe in ourselves and when we trust ourselves. And as I was preparing the agenda for today, I got a very strong intuitive hit to state in my introduction that I am not afraid to die. And I'm going to just claim that. That is how I live my life. I have had experiences that have brought me very close to death. I have been struck by lightning. I have had 4 very severe car accidents. I've had health crises that have felt like death, and I have lost loved ones, even at a very early age. So I have a really profound relationship with this concept of death. And it really contributes to being able to access unbelievable amounts of joy when we work with our fears, when we have total presence and availability for whatever is in our experience, whatever is happening in our bodies. Oh, it really can bring us to an incredible place. Lindsay says slightly anxious and also hopeful. Oh, that is a wonderful pairing, Lindsay. Anxiety, I used to operate from a place of anxiety. That is when we are in our heads, and with the hope, we can bring that all down into the body. Again, that incredible tool of the body. So really quickly, transformational life coach. I am a certified existential kink practitioner. I'm a 200-hour registered yoga teacher. I have trainings in dream work, Akasha, Reiki, I mean, all kinds of things. I just really dove in completely to this path of spirituality after a massive year of spiritual awakenings in 2017. So I am in a state now of an incredible amount of investment in my healing. And I am a mother as well. I have a 7-year-old daughter. And I also gave birth to a little boy 6 weeks ago today. So there is a lot of oxytocin in my system. I am just in this wonderful state of overflow. So happy to share all of that with you. Okay, so thank you. Oh, Hamid, shame at being nearly 100 pounds overweight. I want to honor you and thank you so much for sharing that. I witness and empathize with your shame. And I will just say, letting yourself understand that that shame is there And know that shame is the magic killer in our lives, and that you are probably feeling shameful because you are allowing yourself to believe these external intrusions. So again, Hamid, I hope that in this hour, you will get to a place where you just start to access that love that is in your body. Lindsay says, congratulations. Thank you so much. Yes, he's a gem. I feel like I won the baby lottery. He's very calm, very sweet. He's a beautiful soul. Both of my children are. So, now I would like to know as well, what term or euphemism do you like to use for God? So many possibilities here, but what really resonates with you, and it doesn't have to necessarily mean God. It could be the universe, it could be source, spirit. What terminology do you like to use for God? Just so I can get a sense. I want to make sure I'm speaking your language, or at least understanding what really resonates with you. Okay, divine source, creator. Oh yes, creator, absolutely. Oh, my divine parents, wonderful. Universe, yes, universe. I love universe because it's the one song. Universe, the one song. And divine oneness, yes, one is a big part of it. One to me speaks to this connection of absolutely everything, the animate and the inanimate. Scott says source. Oh, Hamid says Allah. Yes, Allah. Beautiful, beautiful. I personally love to use God, but it's interesting because that word carries so much weight. It sort of like puts you on one side or the other. I do use universe a lot. I use source. I use flow. God, oh yes, Deborah, God as omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, love. I was just going to say, I use love as a term for God. And I love as that term because I think God is a verb. It's not just a noun. It is something available to us that we can both be and how we can act. God is a verb, and especially when we use love, it is a thing and it is a verb. Yes, Hamid, again, Allah. So wonderful. God is a verb, and that you are your universe. You have that spark, that inner divinity within you. So yes, please continue to share your preferred terminology or what resonates for you with God, source, universe, the divine. So beautiful. So I personally was raised in the Catholic tradition. My father was very devout. I went to a Catholic all-girls school, and I really felt a very unique relationship with Jesus. And when I was really diving into the aspects of my spiritual journey, which were very guided by how spirituality could assist me in business, I had an experience where I came across the word metanoia through my teacher, Carolyn Elliott, who's the creator of Existential Kink. She's the author of the book, Existential Kink. And it was a term that Jesus used when someone asked him, how are you capable of all these feats, these very magical feats of healing people, raising them from the dead, multiplying loaves and fishes? And he said, metanoia. Undergo metanoia, reverse the flow of your being. And that night, after I had this experience reading this information and hearing it, I had a dream, which I spoke about in some of my emails leading up to this workshop, where I just, in the dream, was running around, like people just had these expressions on their faces, like I was just crazy, because I was so elated to share the good news that metanoia was the key that everyone was looking for. Metanoia, metanoia. That's what I kept saying to everyone. And they just had no idea what I was talking about, but it didn't matter. In the dream, I was like, well, you don't understand, but I do. I understand on this deep, deep level, and I just can't wait to share it. So that has really guided my own personal work, as well as my work in the world, my work with my clients and my students, and the work that we will be doing here today in the Metanoia Method workshop. So a lot of contemplations around metanoia. And it is, again, it's Greek word that has no literal translation. So in translations of the Bible, and of course, Jesus spoke Aramaic, so we have a lot of adulteration that could happen. It's like telephone, it's like the message gets diffused and changed and altered. So if we go back to Greek, which is a little bit closer to the Aramaic, we got reverse the flow of your being, but in these translations, it became repent, because that was very convenient for how the church wanted to structure society. And that led to people thinking they needed to feel really bad about themselves and repent, just say, I'm so sorry for being human. And to me, that is not at all why the universe created us. That is not at all why we are human, but it was very propagated. And again, it contributed to a lot of organized society. And yeah, we just get to shift that shitty paradigm now. We get to feel good. But a lot of what happened was this division for people, that the subtle energies of the chakra system got divided. So a lot of energy would go up, some energy would go down, and then in the heart, it would end up just being sort of left alone and not doing what it is made to do, which is drive your creative force. So I'm going to share a little visual to really drive this home and hopefully make it a little clearer exactly what I am talking about. So here we have the body that we are in, but of course we are so much bigger than our body, but it just helps, we can see the body, we can touch it, we can feel it, we can really deeply experience it. And I imagine a lot of you have some knowledge of the chakra system, 7 chakras, subtle energy centers that have various ways of operating and assisting us. So we have the crown chakra here, the third eye chakra, the throat chakra. So these are what I refer to as the upper chakras, where we tend to really think of connecting with spirit because, we've been taught that that's where it lives, up above us somehow. But of course, it's in us. It is in us. And then we have the heart chakra here in the center. And then the lower chakras, the solar plexus, where our shame tends to live, the sacral chakra, our creative center. And of course, with women, this is where the womb is. And the root here, down at the bottom, the lower animal, down, dirty. This is, of course, where we experience great pleasure and delight in being in this human body, but also where our anger often gets driven down to. So these lower chakras, the energy tends to get pushed down because it's dirty, it's gross, it's scary. So we repress, deny, and push aside these lower chakra energies. And we think like, oh, I need to just exist in my upper chakra energies, connect with God and divinity and source and the universe. And again, our heart stays sort of shelved. And the heart is one of the most miraculous machines in the universe, one of the most powerful machines, and the first real sign of us becoming a human in the womb. Before the heart shows up and beats, we're just a collection of cells. And the heart is truly the center of our existence all the way through our lives. And it just sort of like hangs out. It's like, okay, well, if this is how this person is existing with the upper chakras flowing upward and the lower chakras flowing downward, what am I supposed to do? So with metanoia, this is the typical natural flow of kind of where we are in our society, the up and the down. And with metanoia, we reverse that. So instead of looking outward for the solutions, for the healing, and downward with our anger, our grief, our sadness, we bring them into the heart. We bring the upper chakra energies down, the lower chakra energies up. The heart can handle so much more than we give it credit for, so much more than we are in tune with. And when we do that, we ignite the heart. We really activate this space that has so much power, so much capability, this driving force within us that heals us. And when we heal ourselves, we can heal those around us. And when we heal those around us, we begin to really heal the world. Instead of thinking all of the problems are outside of me, the solutions are outside of me, everything that's causing what's going on in my life is outside of me, we bring it inside. We have presence with it. We heal it through the heart. And when your heart is turned on and ignited in this way, you have the kind of unstoppable confidence that creates an experience of just joy being your baseline, a space of total and complete overflow, of creativity, of love. It is a beautiful place to exist from. And I'm sure that intellectually you're like, oh, this sounds really nice, but it's actually really, that sounds really hard. What does that look like? This sounds absurd. It is very, very accessible. Very accessible. And that is why here in the Metanoia workshop, Metanoia Method workshop, I'm going to teach you a 4-step process that sets you on the path of bringing those upper chakra energies down, those lower chakra energies up, and uniting and igniting in the heart. So you are unifying your will to create, to exist, to live and love in joy. So quick check-in. Does anyone have any questions? Did that visual help me explain? This is the problem that metanoia is calling us to really approach and work with. It's like we're always working against ourselves because our whole self is this deeply loving, wonderful, capable self, but we have these experiences of self-doubt, of anxiety, of insecurity, and we question in a way like, well, how am I going to do that? And when we really tune in, we can, deliver our whole selves, our unified selves, instead of this sort of up here in my head, anxious, self-doubty person. Oh my God, I just need more coffee and I'm in this like anxious state and my nervous system is frayed. Woo! Imagine what can happen when we bring that down into the heart and we bring up that animal that just wants to like eat their food and frolic and run and just really be down in the earth, on the earth. Sarah says, this makes a lot of sense. Yay. Linda says, whoa, I never knew that. That makes sense. Thank you, Helena. My absolute pleasure. I'm so glad that makes sense. Scott says, great visual, no question. Fantastic. I will be sharing that in the email that will contain the replay. Deborah says, I also love the word metanoia. I think of it as a change of mind, a shift from the small ego mind to the higher mind of spirit. I appreciate your joyful manner of sharing. My absolute pleasure. I'm glad to, I deeply received that reflection, Deborah. Laura says, I'm having a huge fight with my gut feeling and my mind. Yeah, because they're always working against each other. But of course, our gut has more neurotransmitters in it than our brains do. So we can unite them. We are trained and again conditioned, and we've been given this story that we have to like operate from the head. And when we get the head and the body working together, that is when we are unbelievably magnetic. And when we just bring in all the good stuff, all the really, really good stuff. Okay, so let's talk about, I also, Laura, want to speak to that fight, that war between the gut and the mind. I know I deeply empathize with that. I had a lot of digestive issues throughout my life because I was all up in my head about everything. So I send you many, many blessings as we work to have this fight resolve in you, because so many people experience that. Whew. Okay, so the strategy is the 4-step metanoia method here. And I am going to share another little graphic that really breaks this down. And it is really easy to remember because while you might not, hopefully you'll remember the word metanoia. It's just such a beautiful word to me. I wear it here. It's on my necklace, metanoia. It's reverse the flow of your being. So the 4-step metanoia method is all about flow. F.L.O.W. So let's bring up that graphic here and walk through it. I will X out of this. And hopefully you can see this. I don't know, I can't see the chat now. So metanoia method, reverse the flow of your being. F.L.O.W. We start with F, find. L, loves. O, overflowing. W, wisdom. So find. If you do nothing else, just start with find. And this is where we can bring in this beautiful concept of curiosity. We can go back to having childlike curiosity here. When you are experiencing that self-doubt, that shame, anxiety, the fight in between your head and your gut, when you are experiencing resistance as well, you can just stop. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and start with flow. Find, and that is inquiry. What's here? What is showing up right now? What am I feeling? And this might not be necessarily an emotion that you can identify. I mean, probably it has to do with insecurity, anxiety, fear, anger, perhaps, but you might not even be able to put a word to it. It might be beyond thought, beyond rational thought, because that's our conscious mind, is the rational thought. Our unconscious mind, which lives in our body, our soma, the conscious mind is the psyche, unbelievably brilliant. Even more brilliant is the body, the unconscious mind, which is programmed not just by our experience and deeply informed by our biology, what we inherit from our parents and our grandparents and our great-grandparents. 14 generations of direct genetic information are programmed into your body. 14 generations. That is a lot of centuries totally available to you in your body, not necessarily in your mind. Your mind can work with your body to access that information, but it's here, programmed in, ready for you to find it, to ask, what's here? What am I feeling? What am I experiencing? And again, this might be something very identifiable with your conscious thought. More likely, it could be showing up as a physical sensation. What am I feeling here? What am I feeling in my body right now? And just to tune in, this might resonate with some of you because I am able to sense your energy. And I promise when I say that I feel pain, it does not cause me suffering. I just look at it as very neutral information, but I feel some tightness in my head. almost like some constriction, maybe because we are expanding the mind now, and the mind, the ego is saying, no, 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 this is unsafe. This is scary. We're learning something new, a new way of existing and operating. I'm also feeling some tightness here high in my chest. So let's just take a moment to breathe. Nice deep breath. Keeping the eyes closed and just allowing whatever sensation might be showing up for you. It might be reflected back in my body, perhaps not. But just being, again, so available for what's there and ready to find the information, the gift of what is showing up for you, however it is showing up. We can always find love beneath anything, because God is omnipresent. God, Allah, the universe, source, divine creation is omnipresent, omnipotent, always available, always there. And underneath everything, even the really unfortunate aspects of our human existence and our human experience. Find love's love, God, love as a verb. Find love's overflowing wisdom. We live in an abundant universe, a universe that is constantly giving, expanding, contracting. That is the way the universe operates, overflowing with love's wisdom. And all of that is in you right now, forever and always available. Not always easy to access, again, especially when we are living in our heads. We're feeling anxious, full of self-doubt, full of shame, full of guilt, magic killers. Find love's overflowing wisdom. So this is what we do rationally here, finding the flow in the Metanoia method. That is where we start. Taking a breath, closing the eyes, and starting our own reversal of flow in find love's overflowing wisdom. First step. And so what came up for anyone? Were there sensations in the body? What was showing up for you? What was making itself available, making itself known? Was it an identifiable emotion? Was it a sensation? Hamid says numb. A lot of times we feel numb, and it's sort of numb, like we're frozen in what we might be experiencing, because it feels so intense to be experiencing as much as we are, because in any given moment, a multitude of moments are existing. Past moments, future moments, parallel moments. It can be very overwhelming for the system. And so we go numb. And to really sort of melt that numbness, we can use the breath, and we can use some somatic practices. So we are going to move into a practice here, one of my favorite practices. Scott says tons of tension, fear in the solar plexus. Excellent, beautiful noticing, Scott. And thank you for sharing what you were able to find in taking that pause and what was available. And you don't have to rationalize what you're feeling. You don't have to understand it. You do not have to understand it. You don't have to explain it. And again, there's just the curiosity. What's here? What's available? What do I need right now? Or what does this feeling or sensation need from me? And what does it have to give me? What information does it have? So if anyone else had anything come up, I would love to know, because we're going to work through it in our practice here. So tension, fear in the solar plexus, tension and fear, very common, definitely something probably other people were feeling as well. Laura is sharing, learning to trust my gut and not worrying what others think. Love that. Okay, so I'm going to write these down to make sure that we get to them. Okay, so numb for Hamid, and tension And see, I'm taking notes too. NSP, trust, God, Laura. Oh, it just feels like jail, like to always be worrying about what other people think. Ooh, gosh. Again, I know that jail well because I thought like, oh, well, if I just always worry about other people, then that's going to motivate me and give me the information that I need. And, you know, I can operate from this place. And that seemed to work for like, 36 years. And then, you know, God was pretty much like, nope. Here's your fourth totaled car. Here is, you know, a broken hand and a complete health crisis, and your whole world is going to fall apart. Because that is such an unsteady foundation to work from. We can love other people. We can be happy to share ourselves with them, but always worrying what they think. Again, deep empathy for you, Laura. Okay. And stop worrying about others. And Marilyn says, irresistible urge to run and eat to avoid what's coming up. Marilyn, oh God, I just honor that so deeply. And I really just have so much gratitude for you sharing that with us. If you do need to eat, please meet that need. But of course, pausing for a moment, what's really beneath this seeming desire or need to go run and eat, that's reactivity rather than receptivity. So we receive the reaction and dive in a little bit. What's here? Why do I feel that way? And what am I trying to avoid? So Marilyn, is there something specific that you can access that you think you might be trying to avoid in this situation? And you might get a response if you close your eyes again and breathe and tune in. If you don't, that's okay, but it's something to work with and be available for and question. And again, in this practice, we might be able to go a little bit deeper to run and eat. Ooh, and avoidance too. Yeah, we want to avoid how we're feeling because it's uncomfortable. Oh, it's uncomfortable. It's scary. And I have all these other things that I could be doing that can check me out of that. And sometimes we do need to back off a little bit from a very intense sensation and reaction. But that doesn't mean it goes away. We still need to let it exist and work through it, because otherwise it just gets reprogrammed and comes out sideways some other way. So again, Marilyn, thank you so much for sharing that. I'm sure many people can identify. And Laura says, I'm experiencing that now. Beautiful. And Linda says, oh my God, I think I'm guilty of avoiding and resistance. Yes. Avoidance and resistance. I mean, it seems easy. It seems easy to avoid and resist, but of course it's actually making things so much harder. But there is information for you in the desire to avoid and resist. There is something there. There is something that the avoidance and the resistance actually want to give you and inform you of, but it's about relating to it in a new way. Again, bringing the thoughts down and those animalistic energies up and really existing from the heart space. So avoidance and resistance. And ooh, Laura says, avoiding confrontation with making choices, decisions, decisiveness. Yes, we think that when we make decisions and we decide, that's very scary. Because we think we're going to, décider is the root of the word decide, and it literally means cutting off. And that frightens us because we think, oh, I just want so many options and so many opportunities, so I'm just not going to decide. But in not deciding, in avoiding, you are still making a decision. So you're deciding to avoid deciding. And what if in making the decision, you actually were opening yourself up even more to more possibilities? Something to consider. And Laura follows that up with, I've made choices, but I'm afraid to tell other people. Ooh, yes. that fear of telling other people. So Laura, I would say give yourself, you can set a timer, give yourself 15 minutes in the container of a timer to fully experience what it might feel like to tell people. Maybe I'm sensing that you're worried they'll be disappointed, or they'll say, you know, they'll reject you, or they'll not understand, or they won't like what your decision is. And so allow yourself to feel their disappointment and what that might look like, and feel it fully. And I think that might melt your resistance a little bit to informing people of your choices, the boundaries that you want to be putting into place. Okay, continue to share, please, always. I am going to move us into our practice now. It is called Emotional Freedom Technique. And a really quick overview of EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. It is psychological acupressure. It works with the meridians, which are subtle energy channels running throughout the body. And it really helps us communicate with the deep limbic brain, which is our mammalian brain, which is deep, it is here in the head, deeply, deeply embedded in our skull, and totally connected to those lower chakras, those animal chakras, because we inherited this brain from our ancestors. I hope that you all are on board with the concept of evolution. Hello, we had news today of a successful kidney transplant from a genetically engineered pig kidney. A pig. They tried for decades all kinds of ways of getting this kidney transplant to be successful, and it happened through our ancestor, our relative, the pig, because they are mammals just like us. We're different species, but we're in that same umbrella and deeply connected. Yes, Hamid, tapping, also known as tapping. EFT is also known as tapping. I love tapping so much. Personally, professionally, I tap almost daily. Anytime I have some icky, sticky feeling coming up, I use it a lot for resistance, grief as well. And you can find wonderful resources online, on YouTube. If you punch in EFT for anxiety, EFT for confidence, amazing, amazing practitioners. I have developed what I call cheater EFT, because a full EFT practice involves all kinds of points all over the body. A lot of them are in the head, actually, on the face. And that is wonderful. But I found when I most needed to use EFT, my tricky brain would say, oh God, yeah, but it's just so many points, and you gotta like pair up the words with the motions. And I found myself not doing it. So I'm like, all right, well, how can I make this easy? How can I make this more accessible? And I also tuned into where a lot of the sensations were coming up in my body. And I found, oh, this is just so readily available here. You just bend your elbows up against your sides. You don't have to like squeeze in, just very little, very lightly. It's kind of like reptilian arms here. And just super lightly tapping here with your finger pads right around your collarbones. And this is a very light touch. I like to liken this to patting a baby on the back after they've had a bottle, and you're just letting them move some air through, just release. And this is a big premise of EFT, to release. And I invite you to join along with me in the tapping. You might find immediate benefits just from the touch. A lot of the benefit comes from, again, pairing the touch with the spoken word, with the affirmation or the call-in or the integration. And you can also experience the results just by watching me, just by listening. You don't even have to do anything. How cool is that? Because, of course, we are all deeply connected. So if you would like, please join me. And I will speak and leave a little bit of time and space for you to repeat after me. But again, You don't have to. It's up to you. You get to decide. You get to feel good in what you're doing. All right, and we're gonna do 3 quick rounds of this. It looks funny when you can't see my elbows, like my arms are just like sprouting up here. So we're gonna do a release and then a call in. So a release of what we don't want, a call in of what we do want, and then an integration. And we are not going to pause in between these 3 rounds just for the sake of time. Okay, so as we're tapping here, let's just again take a nice deep breath. We're going to do a beta breath. Inhale to the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale to the count of 6. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Getting ourselves into a parasympathetic state. And here we go. Even though I feel numb and cut off from all that I am and experiencing a lot of self-doubt and anxiety and overwhelm, I choose to deeply and completely love, accept, and approve of myself. Yes, approve of everything I'm feeling. And even though I am experiencing a lot of tension and fear, and it's showing up in so many ways in my life, in my body, my business, what I want to create in the world. And I'm noticing it especially in my solar plexus. And even though I'm experiencing all of this tension and fear, I choose to deeply and completely love, accept, and approve of myself. Nice deep breath. And even though I find it really difficult to trust my gut and stop worrying about what other people think, I choose to deeply and completely love, accept, and approve of myself. Wonderful. And even though I have the urge to avoid what I'm feeling, to avoid making decisions, to avoid telling people what my decisions are, to avoid really living my life the way that I want to live it, I choose to deeply and completely love, accept, and approve of myself. Wonderful. And just keeping the eyes closed, again, we're going to move into our call-in and our integration, but just quickly pausing here, dropping the hands into the lap and just noticing how you feel in your body. We just released a lot of heavy energy. So again, nice deep breath. And we're going to move into these last 2 rounds of tapping, and you can choose where you tap. You can tap above your eyebrows, side of the eye. You can tap right on your solar plexus if you would like, Scott, if you would feel that that's calling to you. But again, I just love right here. To me, it just feels so good. All right. And now we'll do a call-in. Wouldn't it feel so good to not feel numb? And wouldn't it feel so good to let go of the tension and the fear that is showing up in my body and my solar plexus? And wouldn't it be amazing to trust my gut and just stop worrying about what other people think. Yeah. Wouldn't that feel so good? And wouldn't it feel so good to just pause when I have the urge to avoid how I'm feeling and just really be present with what I am feeling? Wouldn't that feel so good? And wouldn't it be so amazing that when I am experiencing the sensation of avoidance, to just be totally present with it, to inquire, to find what's there, to employ curiosity, and really tune in to love's overflowing wisdom in that avoidance. God, wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that feel so good? Oh, yeah, that would feel so good to just find out what's there in that avoidance. Yeah. All right, again, a quick pause, dropping the hands into the lap, nice deep breath. And an exhale, you can exhale through the mouth, through the nose. Maybe you want to move a little bit because now we are going to integrate all of that. Again, inviting you to tap on whatever part of the body is calling to you. I'm going to do it right here on the chest, right below the collarbones. Again, super light, tuning in that limbic brain, tuning into the unconscious mind, uniting the psyche and the soma here as we initiate the physical sensation of the tapping and the spoken word. The conscious mind loves the spoken word. And as we are doing these questions in this integration round, we are also bypassing the critical mind. So fun. All right, again, welcome to just watch me and think about how weird this is and still benefit from it, or you can join in repeating after me. Maybe I'm already that person that just isn't numb anymore, that is just fully embracing of everything that I'm feeling, even if it's shame and guilt, all of the icky, sticky wholeness of me. Yeah, maybe I'm already that person that just doesn't need to be numb anymore, that just isn't afraid of what I'm experiencing and what I'm feeling. And maybe I'm already that person that can just be present with the tension and the fear and know that there's something else there and that I can work with that tension and that fear and find out what gifts, what overflowing wisdom are there in my solar plexus that the tension and the fear are calling me towards. Maybe I'm already that person. And maybe I'm already that person that understands that avoidance is really a call to be curious, a call to return to the heart, a call to move into a new space of new operating systems, showing up differently. Yeah, maybe I'm already that person. Maybe I'm already that person that when I am experiencing any kind of avoidance and resistance, I can just welcome that in. I can just pause and breathe and tune into flow, reversing the flow. Maybe I'm already that person that doesn't blame anyone outside of me, that doesn't look for external validation or external solutions. Maybe I'm already that person that just knows that everything that I need, all the information that I need, all the healing that I need is already inside me, ready to be accessed and activated. Yeah, maybe I'm already that person. Again, breathing, really dropping the hands into the lap and just noticing now where your body is, what you might be feeling. I personally feel a lot of lightness, a lot of gratitude. You can just feel how the energy has moved. Even if not all problems are solved, there's just a shift. And sometimes that's all we need. It's just a tiny shift in the energy, tiny shift in perspective. And that can open up a whole new world, whole new way of experiencing the world. So I recommend taking a nice sip of a beverage. We just did a lot of work all at once, and fluids really assist again with that flow of energy. So enjoy some beverage. If you don't have one, go and grab one. And I would love to do a check-in here. How are you feeling? And I'd love to say, how are you feeling now? If you have 3 words to describe how you are feeling. And if you feel like sharing that in the chat, I would love to know. How are you feeling? Maybe just so good that you don't even want to type. Wonderful. Sarah says solid, self-forgiving, and relaxed. Yes. Marilyn says open, excited, and at peace. Laura says relaxed. Thank you. Lindsay says life energy vibrating. Lindsay, woo, you're giving me chills. Hamid says much better. I'm so glad, Hamid. Wonderful. Laura says so much more insight. And Linda says, I usually don't tap, but I feel calm, relief, and relaxed. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Well, continue to share if you would like. I would love to hear. Ooh, effervescent, grounded, and blissful. Tracy, wonderful. Scott says calmer, less worry, wondering why I feel so good. You feel so good because that's actually what we're supposed to feel. That is what God wants. The inner divinity, the source, the universe. They want us to feel good. Because then we can create from that place. We can show up from that place. Hamid says grounded, centered, and ready to do laundry. Cleanse. You released. Now you want to cleanse the things that you wear. And I mean, I think of getting dressed as like a way of honoring God. When you are putting, I mean, we are God in a skin suit, right? So we get to get dressed. This is one of the many things that we get to do as humans. And yeah, having clean clothes is wonderful. It can really feel very good, very refreshing. And that is, our clothes are an extension of us. They are energy. And so when you are cleaning your clothes, you are cleaning an extension of you, cleansing an extension of you. So I fully support doing some laundry. Okay, well, that is just about an hour for our workshop. And I do want to share about taking this work deeper with my program, Courageous. And I'm going to share a little bit about that program just for a few minutes. I will type into the chat the web page if you would like to explore it on your own. If you want to leave our workshop here and explore Courageous on your own, I am opening enrollment. Cheater EFT, the Metanoia Method, one of the many aspects of the work that we will be doing in Courageous. Ooh, Deborah, I do need to read this. This looks really beautiful. Joyful remembrance. Life isn't happening to us, it's happening for us. Absolutely. That is magician consciousness right there. Always with love. Whatever is happening in the present reveals what is incomplete in the past. A call for healing. Exactly. Choosing to remember this truth is key while in the midst of the fear. An EFT tapping session is an awesome technique to help remember. Thanks, Helena. Deborah, thank you so much for that beautiful reflection and sharing all of that. So yes, that officially completes the workshop. If you would like to stick around and hear a little bit about Courageous, I welcome you to do so. If not, and you would like to depart this space, this container, I send you many blessings and so much love. The replay will be available in about 24 hours. And I just hope that you can take the energy of what you experienced here and just move forth today and always using these tools. Again, just tuning into the flow, reversing the flow, the METANOIA method. Find love's overflowing wisdom. It is within you and always available to you. And that is the premise of my work. And we take it again, even deeper in Courageous, which I'm so excited to be running for the third time here in November, starting in November. So this is a 12-week group coaching experience for spiritual entrepreneurs. And spiritual entrepreneurs, you might identify as a creative, a healer, an artist, a visionary, all of them. I actually look at really, we are all healers. We are all entrepreneurs. And you might be feeling an F yes, you want to take this work a little bit deeper. You want to experience some of the work, the wisdom that I have to share. And you can just click anywhere on this page to book an ignition call. These calls are 15 minutes and we will really change your life, even in this call. If you are not a fit for the program, this is not necessarily a sales call. It's to explore if this program is right for you, because I am looking for people that are really ready to experience new levels of visibility and healing and really just move into a whole new space in their existence, deeply tuned into divine guidance, feeling clear and confident and secure past those feelings of self-doubt and insecurity. There's a little video you can watch, talks about some of the things that we do in the program, and I'm just going to cover a little bit of our syllabus, some of the things that we utilize in the process of shadow work. Shadow integration was the missing piece for me in my spiritual journey. I understood on a conscious level the whole law of attraction thing, all the affirmations, and you know what? It didn't work until I found shadow work, shadow integration. It was like I was just this Russian doll, the Matryoshka doll. She's up there supporting me from behind. Just, it was like, could never get to the core, could never get to the united self. And so Courageous really brings together so much of what I have found to work very effectively for myself and for my clients and my students. And you just get to shed the layers of the guilt and the shame and work with what is in you in a whole new way, deep levels of healing, so that again, you can experience unshakable confidence and really whole new levels of visibility. So instead of remaining held back by stress, fear, and self-sabotage, all you need is this healing method. Heal the relationship with yourself and really tune into your intuition and you and your business. Whatever you are doing, whatever you are creating in the world, you can just grow beyond your wildest expectations. So again, wonderful things for you to experience in this page. Even just reading this page, I think that you will get so much out of it. That is how I designed it. And a little bit more about me and my journey, that I just came to this place and I was like, I have really lived my life hating myself, operating from anxiety, self-doubt, insecurity. And I just had this realization one day. I was like, I'm so tired of hating myself. It's not working. I want to learn to love all of myself and unite my whole being, which is, of course, again, the body, the mind, the spirit, the soul, whole. And when we operate from wholeness, when we undergo metanoia, oh my goodness, what's available to us is truly, truly magnificent and divine. So I have some questions for you to tune in if you have been suffering in your life and business, low self-esteem, if you experience overwhelm, fear, and anxiety that are just really getting in the way of how you want to experience life and show up in the world. And just wouldn't it feel so good to just be unapologetically joyful and just like not afraid to die? Totally, totally courageous. That's le cœur is the heart in French. Courageous. We live from the heart, an unapologetic joy. I have some amazing testimonials from people that have worked with me, but what I really wanted to share was the modules. This is a 6-module course. It's 12 weeks. We meet for teaching and coaching calls just about every week. And you get content delivered to you, journaling, prompts, meditations, guided meditations, and yoga practices that are designed to pair directly with the work that you are doing in the module, because of course, that is what we do in Courageous. We unite the psyche and the soma, working together, the mind and the body. So in module 1, we're really tuning into the infinite self. This is another term that I use for God, love, source, inner divinity, wisdom, that you have this self that extends in all directions. It's omnipresent, omnipotent, always available, and all-knowing and all-powerful. And you can work with this infinite self to heal the past and activate you and inspire you and motivate you for what you are creating and living in the future. So there's a lot of inquiry that goes on here, that find aspect. And then module 2, we move into excavate, committing to living in and creating joy. Again, every module has the gentle, guided movement practice, the guided meditation, and then paired with the journaling exercises. So we really dive into what is joy, how to live with joy as your baseline, because that is absolutely possible. It's a wonderful place to exist from. And really magnetizing the people that you are trying to reach with your messaging. And then in module 3, we move to transmute. I really love module 3 because we are learning to work with fear and anxiety in a whole new way. Again, I look at everything that we are experiencing, whether it's an emotion or a physical sensation, an experience, something that might be going on in our lives. There's always information there. And fear and anxiety, there's love underneath it, but it's probably buried, it's mired. We don't know how to relate to it. We haven't been taught how to relate to it in a beneficial way. We've really been taught, especially as women, to not be angry or fearful or anxious. But of course, that's what we end up being, right? Well, we can operate in a new way. So yes, just expanding the awareness, using the somatic practices. EFT comes in a lot here in the transmute module. And then module number 4, liberate. This is an existential kink intensive. Existential kink is absolutely my favorite transformational tool. It is both a practice and an attitude, and it is how we really solve and move past Russian doll syndrome, where we're just like keep living the same thing over and over again. And again, living the same thing over and over again, it might look different. There might be different players. It might be taking place at a different time in your life. But when you really look at it, it just is relating to something that you've experienced in the past, maybe haven't healed. And so existential kink is again, a practice that really works with the psyche and the soma at the same time. And it's really a lot of fun, and one of my certifications as well. After we get really tuned in to living with this existential kink attitude, we integrate. And working, this isn't mirror work. We do use the mirror, but this isn't like standing in front of the mirror and repeating affirmations. No, no, no. This is, we take a more indirect approach to helping you really relate to your reflection in a different way, because when you love your reflection, you love your projection. When you love what you see in the world, you're going to love what you put out in the world. And again, really working as well with the body. I developed something I like to call body nidra. Yoga nidra is also known as yoga sleep. And so this is a meditation that you do at night. It's actually something that I do now nightly, being 6 weeks postpartum, just experiencing body love in a very gentle, very unique way. And that really helps us open up to our intuition, which again lives in the body, that unconscious mind. And then in module 6, our final module, communicate, asserting, loving boundaries. And I love that decisiveness came up today in the workshop, and the expression of the fear of letting other people know what you've decided. That speaks to me so directly about boundaries and this fear of having boundaries. But of course, boundaries are a life skill. And when we express our boundaries and uphold them from this very heart on fire, heart-centered space, it's to our benefit, and it's to the benefit of the people that we are really putting the boundaries in place in order to protect ourselves, and also to benefit them as well. Boundaries are incredible medicine for everyone, for you and those around you. And boundaries too, I mean, a river can't flow without banks, right? It would just be like water everywhere. But because there's the structure of the banks of the river, the boundaries, that river can flow in beautiful ways, in various ways as well. But you got to have the boundaries. And module 6, because we've done all the work in the previous modules, suddenly having boundaries and expressing them and upholding them is much, much easier and can feel really good, because you get to feel good. So in the 12-week intensive, you get 6 guided meditations, 6 gentle movement videos, 6 modules with journal prompts, and 10 live group coaching / teaching calls. We do take 2 weeks off around the holidays for integration, because that is important as well. A fun and supportive environment, community to be in, and Voxer access as well. So fluid exchange for coaching and support. Again, just wonderful testimonials from people who have worked with me. Just more discernment, being able to tune in, speaking about my own style and what it's like to work with me. I love that my enthusiasm is contagious. And here are some logistics as well. This enrollment period is open until Friday, October 29th, and we start on November 1st to align with the releasing energy of the moon. So good. So by the end of these 12 weeks, you'll have a fresh perspective. You'll be a lot more comfortable in who you are and how you show up. You're going to have tools and practices that you will have lifetime access to, and really a deep understanding of when to use them, how to use them, and when to use them. And of course, more confidence, more trust in yourself, confiance in yourself, confidence. And people feel confident and validated working with me. It's so fun. So this is for you if you're ready to leverage your shadow, you want to feel guided, new channels of expression. You have to be willing to let go of some shitty operating beliefs and systems. And you want immediate results, because that's going to happen even just in the ignition call, the 15 minutes that we will spend together in a call. This journey is not for you if you can't be curious, You're unwilling to be playful about this whole self-discovery thing. If you don't want to change, you can just stop reading now. And if you want to blend in with the crowd, not what we're doing here. And if you just don't want to be around spiritual entrepreneurs, don't join. Some incredible results that, of course, were spoken to in the testimonials, but just some more identifiers here, just clarity. There's going to be routine. There's going to be structure. There are going to be practices. You can stop second guessing yourself, censoring yourself. You can just live and express unafraid, totally unafraid. You might experience fear. I experience fear, but I'm not afraid. There's a difference. You can feel authentic and purpose-driven. Ooh, yes, so good. Release your fear of visibility, break old habits, and just experience wholeness and peace. Oh, I'm feeling a little release here as well. So there are some questions, FAQs that you can dive into as well, a little bit more on existential kink. And I really want to stop here at this question because to proceed with courageous, I'm looking for people that, again, feel this commitment to curiosity, to living and expressing joyfully. And you will know if you are ready for that and if you're called for that. You can just close your eyes, tune in, and ask, is this going to give me what I need? Is courageous going to provide what I need and what I want? And you will feel in your body if that is a yes. And that is the kind of yes that we are looking for in this situation. And you might feel that yes, and then your brain's going to give you all the reasons for no. And those reasons could have a lot of validity, but I do hope that you will give yourself the space to really explore the yes. And if you do feel that initial yes, even with all the no's and the questions and the reasons not to proceed, just click that book in ignition call, because who knows what could come just of the 15 minutes. Okay, and you do not need to be a business owner. I love working with entrepreneurs, but I have helped hundreds of people, whether or not they have their own businesses, just experience incredible results through my one-to-one work, as well as here in Courageous. It is just a really incredible space that we create, a wonderful container. We have a lot of fun and we get a lot done as well, because we do it from a place of feeling good and having support and witnessing, and just a lot of acceptance and approval. Okay, and again, some logistics when you sign up. And I do have a 30-day refund window, but you have to be doing the work, and I do track that. And then here at the end, a little bit of my bio of courses of study that I have proceeded on, and really what just contributes to where I am now, where I teach from, where I share from, and where the wisdom comes from. But I am a lifelong learner. And again, for me, it's just all about sharing what has worked for me and what I see working for my clients, to take them from these places of just incredible anxiety, self-doubt, stuck, resistant, avoidant, to living with just unbelievable amounts of joy and delight, and having that really benefit not just their personal lives, but their professional lives as well. Okay, so that is Courageous. Again, the link is here in the chat. You are welcome to check that out for yourselves. I do have some amazing bonuses for the first few people who just book their calls. So I hope that you will consider doing that. If anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. You can also reach out to me directly via my email. And let's see, Tracy says, would tumble a pile of fresh laundry over my kids when they were little. Oh, so they could smell the clean, warm, cozy feeling. A waterfall of healing. Thank you so much. Love to all. I don't know if you're still here, Tracy, but thank you so much for sharing that. All right, well, thank you all so much for being here today, for bringing your beautiful energy to this space, to this workshop. Thank you for being you. You are a gift. We all are. And I hope that in knowing that, in tuning in to all of the information, the wisdom, the knowledge that is innate within you, that you will share that with the world in just beautiful, beautiful healing ways. There's always more to heal. It's a never-ending journey, but it's something that we get to do. It's something that we get to do. And yeah, I hope that today really provided you with enormous benefit. Again, anytime you're starting to feel that stress, anxiety, overwhelm, self-doubt, shame, or guilt, just come right back here and tune into Reversing the Flow, F.L.O.W. Find love's overflowing wisdom. I know that it's here, and I know that I can find it. And I know that when I do, I can just feel so good because I get to feel good. I get to decide that I get to feel good. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you for everything that you bring to the world. I send you so much love and so many blessings. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Namaste.